What's good, addressees? Welcome to the HNR TV, the official YouTube channel for the hottest new revolution, culture, and movement. That's to live your life and love the life you live, regardless of who you piss off in the process, culture, and movement. And right now, for this video, I just want to address maybe some of the new viewers, some of the new followers, folks that's just now seeing me, might be wondering who I am, what it is that I do. Um, and among multiple things that I do, because I do a lot of things, um, but I could say probably the biggest project I'm currently working on is a social network. I have a social network that'll be coming out pretty soon called AddressMe, and basically, and bear with me while I try to attempt to describe exactly what it is that AddressMe does, because it's been a little minute. It's been a little while since I gave this description, so bear with me. Um, Basically, what AddressMe does is it's a social network that contains a filter that I invented that puts people into searchable terms based on three things that you can easily look at on anybody that you may cross paths with. It's the same three things that you look at on anybody, but those three things vary from person to person. So while you're out, if you want to connect with somebody, um, well, let me start here. Let me rewind a little bit. Okay, so the premise and the whole purpose of Address Me is to avoid the uncertainty, the discomfort, the vulnerability of having to, that I know a lot of folks experience, like in approaching new people, approaching strangers out in public, especially in this day and age. We live in like the social networking, uh, I don't, just times of technology, and a lot of folks communicating through technology and not a lot of um, folks meeting face to face these days, or approaching like new people just out, like while you out, or whatever the case may be. A lot of new connections these days are made online. So like I said, the goal is to make it more comfortable, um, and pretty much just as easy to make those connections with the people that you cross paths with in person. Make it just as easy to make those connections um, online, like through the Address Me app, through the technology that we offer, um, to give you an opportunity to connect with those people, network, and get to know each other better before both mutually agreeing to meet face to face at a later, more comfortable, convenient time for both parties. All right. And I gotta add this disclaimer real fast, because a lot of folks say, well, not even a lot of folks, but some folks, concerns, maybe, oh well, dang, if anybody can just like contact you, any stranger can just contact you and send you a connection request while you out and about, ain't that, can't that be potentially dangerous, or whatever the case may be? So here's what I have to say. Well, first of all, there are features within Address Me that create barriers, um, to where anybody won't just be able to connect with you and have access to your full profile and all of your information and things of that nature. That's first off. Second off, I like to give this an example to kind of give people more of a perspective about um, how Address Me works in comparison to some of the other technologies and um, apps and things like that that are already currently out here in the world that are very successful. For example, you have Uber, Lyft, and other ride share services where we call rides, we get in cars with strangers, and we have these strangers drive us to other private, personal destinations where we may be staying for a short period of time, or even in some instances, even to our homes. They drive us home, strangers. And then we have uh, uh, Airbnb and other venue, house rental services where we're literally inviting paying strangers into our homes. So this is another technology out here that's thriving right now that gives strangers access to one another. So I like to look at AddressMe as first base, basically, to third base and home plate that are already taking place out here in the world. Literally, home plate. Like strangers are taking people to their homes and other private like destinations. Um, but AddressMe actually gives people an opportunity to connect, network, and get to know each other first before inviting each other or getting into each other's cars or inviting each other to each other's homes and things like that. So yeah, that's kind of like a disclaimer I wanted to give, just a comparison that I like to throw out there for the folks who may be skeptical or concerned about AddressMe and the safety of our network and this tool. More than just avoiding the uncertainty and the vulnerability and the discomfort of approaching strangers, it also gives you an opportunity to make those connections or make connections in circumstances and situations where approaching somebody may not be physically possible due to maybe like physical barriers that may be in between you and that person. And one example that I like to give when I give um, that statement is basically imagine that you are on a bus or a train or whatever the case may be, and you see somebody at the corner at the crosswalk getting ready to cross the street, and this person catches your attention for whatever reason, but you don't want to, you're not going to get off the bus and introduce yourself to this person and wait for the next one coming down the line. You get what I'm saying? So that would be a situation where a barrier was making it basically impossible for you to interact and connect with that person. Um, with AddressMe, and as long as the other person is on the AddressMe app and they are active and they got their filter filled out and everything like that, then you will be able to make those connections. That other person also has to be on the AddressMe app. Um, but yeah, under that circumstance, you'll be able to enter the information, the three things about that person into the filter. Apply it to a radius of whatever distance that person is from you, whether they like 15 feet, 20 feet, whatever the case may be. Everybody in that radius matching that, if that filter criteria that you put in will populate on your app, and you can send them. You can either save their profile if you see them, if they pop up in the results. You can save that profile until you get home, you get in your own space, you comfortable to go ahead and send that connection request or whatever the case may be. You can send it right then, or you can send it immediately and connect with them immediately. And so basically, it's all type of situations and circumstances where AddressMe could come in handy. My personal um, issue with connecting with folks, like just out and about, and what gave me the idea to come up with AddressMe or to create AddressMe was just me being fluid and dealing with guys, dating guys, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to call it, it is what it is. Um, just being out and about, like at work, um, uh, store, gas station, like wherever, just out and about, man. You cross paths with somebody, and I'm usually a pretty good gauge. Like, I can tell when somebody like feeling me or whatever the case may be. You get what I'm saying? Like it's a tension. It's a tension that you experience, like just crossing paths with folks. Like It's just it's easy for me to tell, and it happens to me a lot, right? But even still, I'm not just always going. I have done it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not opposed to it, but I'm a little more bolder than most people as well. Um, but most times, more I would say more often than not, I just like don't approach people, or I don't approach that dude or that person or whoever, and that like that connection, that opportunity just kind of bypasses or whatever the case may be. And every time it happens, it's inconvenient and it sucks a little bit. So, yeah, that's what gave me the idea to come up with a filter where you can make those connections while you're out and about, completely virtually, without having to um, deal with the vulnerability or uh, avoid just all the mental hangups. Like, folks be worried about getting embarrassed. Folks be worried about this, worried about getting shut down, worried about rejection. Like, so all those mental hangups that would prevent you from being able to go and make those connections and reach out to those people or whatever. Like, all of that is eliminated by being able to use the AddressMe's discrete filter to make those connections. So I don't know if I said my name. My name is Vinny Williams. I also go by King V um, for the purposes of creating my content or whatever the case may be. Um, the YouTube is HNR TV, or you can follow me on uh, IG at One Profit, like holy profit, not like money, monetary profit, like One Profit King. Um, I think, yeah, yeah. Um, man, what else? So that's a little bit about me. I'm a tech entrepreneur, among other things. Uh, Feel free to like, subscribe, and follow along for my journey, because that's I also talk about my spiritual awakening journey and just a bunch of things that go along with that. Currently in a ritualistic initiation process, um, but gaining my freedom through God through that process by following God, by serving God, and um, yeah. Anyway, I think I'm in that here, man. If you have any other questions, feel free, like I said, to reach out to me on my IG at One Prophet King, and yeah, that's an avenue to get to know me a little bit better if you have any more questions. All right, y'all be safe today. Stay out the way. Take everything one step at a time, one day at a time. Focus on finding yourself and finding your purpose. I love you, King V, HNR.